What's up, guys? Mike here from the Internet Scholars, recording at my home to prove to you that we should never record at my home, especially with the lighting all messed up. The whole house is like this, not just my room. Not good lighting around here. So we are currently out of videos to put out. Hopefully we'll get some more recorded soon, but we're not going to take a break in content like we did before. In fact, we actually had videos to put up and then we just didn't get them edited, but now we burned through all that content, which is why I tell Rob we should record more content at a time, but that's a story for another day. We butt heads sometimes. We're buddies, so it works out. What I wanted to do, since we didn't have a video for today, and we may not have one Friday, I think Rob's going to put up some Rocket League if we don't get one recorded by then. But for today's video, I decided to do something a little fun and take some of our podcast at soundcloud.com/internetscholars if you want to check it out, and add some pictures, make it an enhanced podcast, and just give our thoughts on Civil War, since, the first video on this channel was a Deadpool review, and we haven't really done anything that was just discussion since then. I want to do more content like this, so hopefully we'll get some more like live action stuff recorded. Eventually I want to get the podcast in video so we can put the whole thing up on YouTube, but for now, since it's such a pain to add the pictures to it, I just want to do a little slice of our Civil War thoughts. I hope you enjoy. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm going to put that at the beginning. Please go ahead and do that if you do like and enjoy, and share it, of course. And yeah, let me know what you thought about this, and please check out our podcast when you're done listening to it to get the whole experience. There's 5 episodes up right now. We're averaging 1 a month because we just barely got 2 in last month. I literally just put it up yesterday, even though we recorded it like in the beginning of the month. Again, stories for another day. Please watch, enjoy, and see you guys next. Let's go talk about Civil War first. We've all seen it, right?
Have you seen Civil War, dude?
Yep.
All right, so I personally think Lee was underrated in the movie.
Who?
Lee, General Lee.
General Lee.
Leader of the South. I mean, he was...
Oh,
he forfeited for
this joke again. I'm done.
Yeah, the General Lee arc.
Perfect. I think Lincoln, once again, was portrayed as not human enough.
Arguably overpowered.
Definitely overpowered for sure.
I don't know. I think there's something going on, like, with the wooden stakes. Maybe he's a vampire hunter or something.
I mean, maybe. They didn't really touch about this on this. Maybe in a future movie they'll explore it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Grant was underutilized. Ulysses really needs his time to shine.
So done with this. I've been listening to this joke for the last week and a half.
But yeah, I think, the right side probably came out in the end.
But
the other side had reasons to fight, too. They made it make sense.
I think it
But
was...
the real question is, why didn't the North just all have Iron Man suits? It would have made it so much easier if they just all had Iron Man suits. And that's how you get Rob to leave. Success. Alright, but I stand by the point I made before the movie. Captain America was definitely in the right for sure. And anyone who was Team Iron Man was clearly wrong by the end of the movie. And we just watched Rob commit suicide.
Well, okay. I'll play devil advocate here. Team Iron Man.
No, that's not called playing devil's advocate. That's called being wrong. Iron Man himself admits he was wrong, and you're still like, no, Iron Man's side's right.
No,
Iron Man.
I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying he shouldn't be prosecuted for believing what he believed as things were unfolding.
But even he realized that it was wrong.
Well, yeah, but post exo fact, yeah, after everything was done.
Yes, and that's where we're at here. After the fact, you can look back and say Iron Man was wrong, Captain America was right, but you're still saying, no, I'm Team Iron Man, which means you still believe we should lock up. We should lock up Hawkeye. Let's put fucking Scarlet Witch in a straitjacket because she can't be trusted in humanity.
Well, no, Tony didn't even believe any of that.
At the time when he was signing the Sokovia Accords, that's what he believed.
No, he believed in regulation. He didn't.
That's what regulations are.
I understand.
Before you didn't realize that's what it is.
But as things started happening, he understood he was wrong.
Yeah. So now you need to also realize that by supporting Iron Man's point of view, you were wrong.
I'm supporting Iron Man as a person at the end of the movie. I'm not prosecuting.
So then you were Team Captain America at the beginning of the movie.
No, that makes even less sense.
It's the same point. At the end of the movie, Iron Man realizes that Captain America was right.
Yeah. So
if you agree with Iron Man, that means you should have agreed with Captain America at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you admit you're wrong.
No,
Yes.
Tony Stark was wrong.
But you supported Tony Stark.
You're missing my point.
I think you're not understanding your own point.
No, I understand my point of view sufficiently. It's just I can't convey it to you because, I don't know, can't shove my head that far up my own ass.
Well, by supporting Team Iron Man, that's exactly what you're doing.
I'm not supporting Team
Going into the movie, you can either believe in Captain America's point of view or Iron Man's point of view. Just because their point of views through the movie changed, pre-movie, you agree with the point of view that was shown in the trailers, which was pro-regulation. It's what you were telling me when you were saying you were Team Iron Man.
No, I'm pro. I believe I align with Captain America's beliefs, but I support Iron Man as a character, not necessarily his belief, but I support the journey he went through on the movie. I understand.
But you didn't know that going into the movie. You didn't know what journey he was going to go through. And pre-movie, you were Team Iron Man, which means that pre-movie, the only thing you had to judge on was what their ideals were shown, which was either I support government regulations or I don't support government regulations. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So if you supported government regulations, but at the end you say you still support Iron Man's point of view, which at the end is Captain America's point of view,
Yeah.
means that you were wrong and you chose the wrong side.
Are we free to spoil it?
Yeah. Free spoilers here.
Alright. Well, I think beside that, I think what made the movie work was...
Yeah, let's talk about the actual movie instead of Mike picking apart my...
Well, I had a whole thing to go on, but you wanted to go fucking devil's advocate and be, hey, here was Iron Man's point of view, I agree with it, when you didn't even agree with it.
Go ahead, David.
Well, I think what made the movie work was the government registration aside was both their hands were kind of dirty in it. We could spoil it, right?
Yeah.
Of how when Tony at the end turned to him and he's like, "Did you know?" Referencing to did Captain America know about
Bucky killing his parents.
Yeah, and he said yes. So I think that's what made the movie work. There wasn't really
Yeah, I think what made it work is that in the overarching point, the point that's going to lead on to other movies, this regulation thing, Iron Man was wrong. But in the personal conflict between Captain America and Tony, Cap was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's in the movie there was everyone's hands were dirty. There wasn't besides
Besides Hawkeye. Hawkeye's hands were clean.
Yeah.
Fucking love Hawkeye.
In this particular case, it's not like Hawkeye hasn't, but Tom Holland, best Peter Parker I think we've seen. Best Spider-Man I think we've seen.
I don't think Tom Holland's Peter Parker is really that much different than Andrew Garfield's. I think both as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, they were portrayed pretty similarly. It's just the movie around Tom Holland was much better than Amazing Spider-Man 2 was around Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Well, I think also a problem with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, him as Peter Parker, is he's supposed to be kind of this social outcast of high school, but you look at him and
he was this popular hacker skateboarding nerd.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's he's the most attractive person at the school, and he's the coolest looking guy, and it's how is he supposed to be the guy that no one hangs out with and stuff? That's what Tom Holland looks like.
So what you're saying is that Tom Holland's ugly. That's what makes it.
No, it's not. No. It's not that Tom Holland. It's not that Tom Holland's ugly. It's just that he's somebody who would fade into the background if the camera was not pointed at him.
Yeah.
I didn't see him fade to the background. He was in the front of every scene he was in.
Because the camera was pointed at him. In a crowd, you're not going to pick Tom Holland out as somebody.
No, I'm not going to point out the guy wearing a spider costume.
That's talking about Spider-Man versus Peter Parker. In a crowd, you're not going to pick...
Peter Parker is Spider-Man. No, there's a big difference. Just like Iron Man's Tony Stark, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. It's not like a Batman situation where Batman is Bruce Wayne, but Bruce Wayne is a persona.
You're talking about Spider-Man in the suit. I'm talking about Peter Parker, the individual himself, not his identity as Spider-Man. Tom Holland is, like I said, a face that could easily get lost in the crowd compared to...
I mean, I don't think we know that yet.
Well, what else do you want to talk about in Civil War? Specifically.
I think it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was clearly the middle movie in a series. And that's why I think it's not as good as it could have been. Like, this movie relies on other movies to get it to where it is, and it doesn't solve the main issues it brings up. So I think it's clearly the two towers of a franchise. It's not the conclusion. It's not the start. It is clearly a middle chapter, and it works great as a middle chapter. But I think it brings up points it doesn't pay off. And I think if this is someone's first foray into the Marvel Universe, it would not work.
It would be a hard entrance point into the universe.
Yeah, but even beyond that, I mean, like, I think a lot of the movie relies on knowing what is conspired in this, especially Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, to even function or work in general.
Well, yeah, because I feel like, to me, it was the first time anybody that is involved with all this had really stopped to examine where they were as a group. You know what I mean? And Winter Soldier kind of started to bring in the harsher realities of what's really been going on, what they've really been facing, and then that scene after Tony gets done giving the speech, and the woman approaches him about her son and all that. The whole conversation about guilt, that was really, and then for him, introspective as to what effects he was still having. And I think that was a big moment for him, because it showed him that even though from Iron Man 1, even though he had gotten out of the arms business, he was still responsible for people dying. And I think that was the reason he reacted the way he did. And that's the thing. It's reliant on everything that's occurred in the universe
I think
before this.
More than any Marvel movie to date.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also a big part of it is it. Well, and they do this anyway, but they assume that you saw the other ones. For example, when they were called into the meeting within like the first 15, 20 minutes, and it's General Ross, and he's showing like holograms, and he's like, "This is what happened in like New York, and this is what happened in like the various cities." Like in the other movies, like as an audience, like you're engaged and you're like, "Oh, like they're fucking like kicking ass and stuff like that," and then like when you actually see from like the street level of what's going on, that's why it changes. But if you're watching it for the first time, if I was watching it for the first time, I'd be like, well, I don't know what happened there, but it looked pretty bad. But as an audience,
I think they handle that much better in, say, First Avengers or Civil War, or not Civil War, I meant Winter Soldier in particular, where it had a similar scene where they're addressing the stuff that's went on before, but it does it in a way that Winter Soldier could be also a starting point for a franchise. Where, like I said, there's no way I would suggest anyone see Civil War without watching other ones.
No, I mean more so.
So I think they didn't even try to make this work as a standalone movie, which I think it's one problem with it.
Because I feel like even the second event, Age of Ultron, you could almost get into without.
Yeah, Age of Ultron, I think you'd enjoy it more if you've seen the others, but I think it works as a standalone. I think all the Iron Man's work as a standalone. Obviously, the solo movies work as a standalone. First Avengers works as a standalone, which is surprising since you're taking all these other characters.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first movie in the franchise where, as a standalone, it really kind of doesn't hold up because, like, it's like a direct continuation of the events from Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And then I also think it doesn't really resolve the point it brings up.
No, and that kind of that bothered me at the end, the way everybody was out of pocket with one another. But
that's why I say it just feels like a middle chapter, because that's the way it left me. It's like it resolved the conflict between Captain America himself and Iron Man himself, but didn't really resolve
their issues,
the registration and any of the issues that happen between what's going to affect these characters moving forward and before. But I do like that they kept the villain around, because I think Zemo could. I think he had a total of 6 minutes of screen time. I think those 6 minutes were actually, every scene he was in was good.
What
it made
else?
sense, and there's there's more to him we don't know yet, and I think that they actually left him around to be menacing in the future.
I feel like he's definitely going to impact things.
Like he's probably one of the first Marvel villains where it's like I can see him being important later.
Because it kind of took away some of to me the menacing that he was menacing, but then after you learn that he wasn't there to wake up the other Winter Soldiers, it kind of took away from it. So I feel like
I think there's definitely more to that than what we're getting on.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
So, I mean, he was able to uncrypt those Hydra files, and there's a reason he was able to uncrypt those Hydra files.
I don't think
we know that yet.
The final credits roll, he's still very menacing. I feel like they're going to bring him back.
Hopefully they do. Hopefully they don't waste him.
Maybe not as, the main villain again, but he'll definitely be...
Well, I mean, I don't really think there was a main villain in this one. I think the main villain was just the circumstances.
Well, he was definitely the anti-force. And I feel like...
he was the instigator.
Yeah, he was an instigator. He wasn't a villain, though.
Yeah, but I feel like his lust for the destruction of the Avengers will play nicely into somebody else's plot.
I don't think it's just going to be someone else. I think it's going to be all the future movies except maybe Doctor Strange. Because what happened in this movie is going to directly affect Spider-Man. It's going to directly affect the Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
The Ant-Man and Wasp movie will affect. 'Cause, I mean, he was locked up in an underground prison for a little bit.
Yeah.
All the future movies, especially the Avengers, all going to be directly affected by what he did.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no question there. But I mean,
which the problem is that they didn't resolve this, so now that has to play throughout the next movies, and if it doesn't, that's going to reflect back on this movie and make it seem worse.
Yeah, well, no, I agree with you there, but I'm just saying I would not expect, or I would not be surprised if we saw a resurgence of Zemo. That was his name. Zemo, Helmet Zemo. A resurgence later on, teaming up with another instigator, anti-force, evil entity. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, yes, this has long-reaching effects, but I'm saying I don't think we've seen the end of Zemo.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also don't see him teaming up with anyone. I could see him maybe creating almost a Spectre-type organization.
Maybe not team up so much
or
as...
a new Hydra or something.
Maybe not team up so much as jump into a situation somebody else has created and just make it worse. I don't know.
Maybe when we find out more about him, we'll
yeah, because we really don't know anything about him.
And
I feel like they underutilized Vision in the movie. Was the only thing he did not stand out for me.
Vision, I think, was a main factor in the plot. I mean, Vision, if he doesn't hurt War Machine, the whole end of the movie could end differently.
Well, his presence.
But, I mean, this relationship he's building with Scarlet Witch. I mean, it changes the tides. It changes Tony's mind really. Well, a lot of that.
There were definitely elements of that. I just feel like he was... I mean,
in a movie with 20 characters...
Yeah, he definitely got the short end of the stick.
I don't really think he did. I think it was just that his character did what it made sense for his character to do in this movie. The whole time.
Well, I'm excited to see character development on Vision.
Which I think what this gave us.
Because
he went from just a robotic character to one that's feeling feelings for the first time.
Yeah.
That's questioning if that's a good or bad thing.
Excited to see more Vision character development. Excited for Black Panther. I thought they did a really good job casting a Black Panther. He
did not like Black Panther movie.
Why? I mean, I'm not. I just what because.
Well, let me separate this. I think Black Panther was good in the movie, as in the scenes with Black Panther as Black Panther. I think visually Black Panther looked awesome. The fighting style was awesome. And where they ended Black Panther and T'Challa, I think made sense. I did not like the way they handled T'Challa in the movie because he's supposed to be this rage-filled person who's doing everything he can to stop the Winter Soldier, which is what they address him as in the movie. But the actions he does in the movies does not lead me as a viewer to seem like he's a rage-filled person.
So
And the only reason that was conveyed to me was because they had to say, yes, I'm very angry and I want to kill Winter Soldier. In a very wooden way where the way they were trying to portray him, especially at the end where it's like, I've had a change of heart, I'm done with this vengeance and stuff, you need to stop. I was filled with rage and now you got more time here, as he said to Zemo, and it's like, that was not portrayed through his actions in the movies, just his words.
So
which I don't think.
So you don't have an issue, because I don't have an issue with the casting.
No, I think Chadwick Boseman's a great actor.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I can understand. Yeah, you having a. He was a little wishy-washy.
I think he was kind of just. He felt like the only reason he was there was to be like, hey, we're making a Black Panther movie.
See,
It was basically the only way I felt he was in the movie. It was like, oh, it makes sense if he's here that he has to be fueled with rage. Oh, but we don't want him to be fueled with rage because then he would be able to kill Winter Soldier, and at the end he needs to be on Team Cap's side. So it's like
him not killing Winter Soldier makes sense because he does learn that it wasn't really Bucky.
yeah, it would have made sense. It's just his motivations before didn't add up to what they told me they were.
Oh, okay. Well, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but he was a little wishy-washy.
Like the only time it looks like he's actually trying to kill Winter Soldier, like he says he is through the entire movie up until the last scene, is in the scene where he's chasing him down at the beginning.
Yeah.
After that's kind of like, oh look, I'm fighting with you guys now. We're friends. Yay.
Yeah, well, I think with Black Panther, the thing that I like what they did was like he was the only character like not cracking jokes and stuff, which makes sense because
it makes sense for his character.
Because it was just something like, I think Hawkeye was like, hey, I don't think we met before.
But actually, he did make one joke.
Which?
Couldn't you have done that earlier?
When?
No, that's Falcon.
No. Black Panther said that to Falcon. Because Falcon called in his drone to stop Spider-Man. He said, couldn't you have done that earlier?
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
And then Falcon says, I hate you.
Yeah, but I thought he was saying that to...
What? Yeah, that happened in the movie.
I thought he was saying, I hate you to Bucky when they both fell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I thought that was Black Panther in that scene for some reason.
No.
Yeah, that was Bucky then. Yeah.
But, yeah, and then Clint was like, hey, like, Hawkeye was like, hey, I'm Clint, and Black Panther's like, I don't care. The only part I probably have a problem with is like, and I understand why they did it, is when they did like the superheroes like facing off scene, where like they're lining up, which I understand why they did that because it's supposed to be like big, grand, and epic. Yeah. But like character wise,
it doesn't make sense for Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther should be like running immediately.
What he says doesn't make sense with the motivation, with the actions we see him take.
Yeah,
I think there's several scenes in the movies where that happens.
Yeah, there's a little mismatch, but hopefully obviously in the Black Panther movie.
Well, because in the Black Panther movie now, at the end, he's the character that he should have been at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean they have what 2 hours to explore his character, which they're gonna do a good job of.
Well, I mean, it's just how much of a Black Panther movie is that going to be now?
I think
we already know Winter Soldier's sitting in the cave, and presumably the entire Cap's Avengers are in Wakanda. So how much of a Black Panther movie are we going to get, or is this going to be another Civil War situation?
Well, hopefully it's just Black Panther.
Yeah, but it's not going to be.
Well,
just like Spider-Man's not going to be just Spider-Man. It's going to be Tony Stark and Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference between... I won't mind if Tony Stark is in the Spider-Man movie, as long as he's not, like, a main focus of the action. You know what I mean? Him being there to push along the story is great, but him being there, fighting alongside Spider-Man the whole time, back to back, that's... Yeah.
I think there might be some of that.
As long as we get more Marissa Tomei.
She's hot.
And Hottie.
And Hottie.
Yeah, but what I like about Spider-Man is, like, it felt fun again. Like, it felt whenever you saw...
Yeah, because he's, like, someone new to this world. He's like, all this stuff. It's the same way Ant-Man worked the same way in the movie, too, because, like, he's not used to being in this bigger world universe where all these characters have lived for so long, and now it's like...
For me, Ant-Man was more like a normal person getting wrapped up in all this, which is, exactly what he is. They portrayed
he clearly was portrayed as a fanboy in this movie, and I think it was fun.
In Civil War?
Yes, in Civil War.
Well, yeah, but...
He was basically portrayed the exact same way Spider-Man was.
Spider-Man...
It's just Spider-Man's more sarcastic and snarky. That's why he had more quips. But I think they were both treated the same, and I think it worked both ways, because these are two characters who have their own shit going on, and then all of a sudden it's like this brand new world opening up to them. Because they're being in awe the first time.
Spider-Man just instilled a whole lot more, like, childhood, like, nostalgia for me than Ant-Man did, but it's probably just because I was more
That's
familiar.
your childhood nostalgia.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But one character don't think made sense in Civil War was also Black Widow. It still makes no sense for Black Widow to be on Team Cap's side, Team Iron Man's side, except for the fact that she needs to be able to betray Black Panther at the end. She was just there as a plot device.
Well, that's who she is, though. She's the double agent.
Yeah, but they didn't portray her as someone that was being a double agent at that point. She believed in Team Cap and Team Iron Man, but it doesn't make sense for her to believe in Team Iron Man. It seems like the only reason they put her there was so she can have a change of heart later. It made sense plot wise. It didn't make sense character wise. And I believe plot should serve the character, not the other way around.
See, I gave
that's my.
I gave Natasha's character enough credit that she had the foresight not to side with who she really wanted to side with, but to side with the side that she knew was going to cause the most trouble.
But you gotta think
do damage control.
She is someone that worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long period of time, and before that, Russians for a long period of time. She's been controlled by the government all her life, and she knows that they're corrupt. The last thing it makes for her character sense is to take these group of not as corrupt people and put them in the corrupt hands of the government. It does not make sense for her character.
Well, it doesn't make sense for her character, but
exactly, and the movie should serve the characters, not the other way around.
I mean,
like that's why Kevin Smith movies are so great, is because it's just character dialogue. Characters are doing what characters should do.
Yeah,
that's how movies should work. Characters should do what characters should do, and when it's reversed, when you're forcing a character into a situation just to have that character there, it stands out. And I think that's what stood out in this movie. Is it doesn't make sense for her character to be there.
I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. They did what they did. I mean,
it wasn't good. That's what Civil War is a good movie. People are overhyping it. I point out many flaws that prove this is a good movie. It's not a super great movie. And it doesn't work as a standalone movie. I want to love it more. As a fanboy, I love it a lot. And as someone that's seen all the Marvel movies, really great. But objectively, if I just look back and looked at it, it's a B movie. A B plus maybe, but it's not as great as people are.
Yeah.
People need to take it down a notch. That's what this place is here for. Right, David?
Yeah, it was good.
That wasn't great, let's be honest.
Yeah. Just set up for more Spider-Man.
Set up for more Spider-Man, which is going to be awesome.